Hello and welcome back to Bombchew News. I'm Austin and here with me is Chris.
Hello again.
We're back covering the rest of the E3 press conferences, specifically Nintendo.
Yeah, I was very pleasantly surprised by Nintendo's E3 presentation this year.
It was short, it was sweet, it was to the point.
Yeah, it was exactly what they needed it to be for how short their presentation was.
It was a bold move. There were a few games that they didn't have any footage ready for, that they just were putting it out there. Hey, we are working on this game, specifically Metroid Prime 4. I'm glad that they finally put that out there. And I mean, for something that showed zero gameplay and just said, hey, we're working on this, people went wild for that. For just a picture of a title screen with music. Like that's all it took for people, because that's how much people want this.
Yeah, and we just needed some kind of confirmation that they're doing something with the Metroid franchise, because they haven't done anything major since Other M. It's nice to see them doing a mix of, like you said, with Metroid Prime having a vague, maybe 2018, 2019 release date, but then they also highlighted all the stuff that's coming out this year as well.
Like the Metroid 2 remake, which finally makes it somewhat okay that they canceled that fan project.
It makes that hurt a little bit less.
Yes, it's like, okay, they're not just sitting on the IP, they actually needed, they had a valid reason to shut that down.
Yeah, and it's nice to see them be a little bit justified in their decision. It still sucks that they had to take down such a good-looking fan project, but
it's true.
It's nice that they had an actual reason instead of just, hey, this is ours, you can't make it.
And this is the first time that we've had both a 2D and a 3D, well, 2D sort of, a side-scrolling Metroid and a full 3D Metroid coming out around the same time in ages. Last time we were on the Game Boy Advance.
Yeah, so it's just so nice to see them not just going back to Metroid, but going in full force.
Yes, like they really listened. I'm very pleased about that. I remember hearing Reggie say something, I think it was sometime last year, where basically he was saying, look, we really do hear what you're saying. I know it doesn't seem like that, but I think you're going to be very pleased with some of the stuff that we have that you'll see announced later on this year. Come talk to me this time next year, and we'll see how you feel. And I feel like this is what he's talking about.
Yeah, this has to be it, because everything they announced was just perfect, on point, exactly what needed to be shown, exactly what needed to be announced.
Let's start from the beginning. Let's go from the beginning and Xenoblade 2 right out of the gate. Like, it's already got the English voice acting. Like, this is, when they said it was coming out this year, I was very skeptical, because I remember for the Wii U, the first Wii U E3, they showed off Project X, which was Xenoblade Chronicles X, and that took so many years to come out. And that didn't come out that long ago, so I thought, their next game is going to be years off. There's no way it's coming out this year. It's already got English voice acting. It looks like it's just about ready to go.
I would say this looked more like a release trailer more than anything else.
Yeah, it did. It really did. So I'm surprised by that. He kept calling that girl Blade. I couldn't tell if she was his sword that he was wielding, but then she was like holding it with him sometimes. I don't know. It looked flashy. It looks cool. It'll be cool to have a very big JRPG on the system.
Yeah.
We got Kirby, just Kirby.
Yeah,
and
just plain and simple.
When they started the trailer off for Kirby, I was like, oh, what is this generic crap? Like, what? Don't just go straight into your generic games. And then all of a sudden it was like, oh, actually it's Kirby. I was like, oh, that's awesome. Very cool. It looks like it's a 2D or a side-scrolling Kirby game. It's got 4-player co-op. I don't know what's going to set it apart from everything else. The graphics look really nice. There was one power he had where he was like Wave Kirby, and he was like riding a wave through, and the water looked super nice.
I mean, obviously, it's a Kirby game, so the visuals they pop, it's cute, it's great.
My main hope, like all I've been wanting for forever, is just something that matches with Kirby Superstar, like something that's really long but still has the good co-op, that scales well in difficulty, just lots of cool powers. That's what I want. If this is one of the
it looks like
problems
a
with the
step in
Kirby
the right
games.
direction.
Yeah. One of the issues with a lot of the recent Kirby games is they're either too easy or too short, or
it's something weird
crossed.
like Canvas Curse, or
That's true.
But yeah, this looks like it just looks good. 4-player co-op, classic Kirby. I don't know. I'm into it.
No footage, but we know that the next core Pokemon game is going to be on the Switch, probably sometime next year.
That feels like a response to how people negatively reacted to the Nintendo Direct.
I mean,
last week.
They've already been openly talking about how they were working on a game for the Switch, a Pokemon game for the Switch.
Yeah,
and
it just
they
feels
just
like...
kept doing all this like, oh, we're going to announce something, and they missed the mark with their announcement, and so there were a few things in here that this kind of goes with that Metroid Prime 4 of we need the fans to know that we're listening to them and get them excited so that we can say, yes, we know this is what you want. We are working on that. That is going to happen.
It's better than them
they can't
just
go the
ignoring
Fallout
us.
route. They can't go the Fallout route and go, oh, it's coming out in 2 months. Because they have to keep that momentum going while they're still getting the games out.
Yeah, and it's nice to show that instead of just ignoring us, they do at least say something, so we know, hey, they are working on it, they do care, it's just might be a ways off.
Then, kind of fitting with the Kirby naming a game that's just called Yoshi, it almost looked... I almost thought for a second that it was a sequel to Woolly World, but
that's kind of what I thought at first, yeah.
Because he looks fuzzy, but then it's like you realize the whole world's not made of wool, and I guess neither is he. So I'm not sure what exactly the theme is there, but I guess he's kind of going through a diorama sort of world. But
it reminded me a lot of Little Big Planet, the way it's got that foreground and background, like 3 layers to the platforming.
Yeah, and it looks like co-op is more of a focus on this one than Woolly World. Woolly World, that was just like, well, it makes it easier. This one, it seems like it's more of a focus.
Yeah.
Fire Emblem Warriors got kind of the general story laid out. They didn't show any gameplay. It was just kind of a cinematic trailer.
That feels weird because the gameplay is kind of what you go to a Warriors game for.
Yeah, and I'd like to know. I'm curious to see if the Fire Emblem strategy will play into this at all. Or if this is just going to be straight up just, oh, it's Fire Emblem Heroes and a Dynasty Warriors game.
I could see them bringing some of that strategy element in the same way they did the Hyrule Warriors, how they had that side bit that was kind of like the classic Zelda.
Oh, yeah. That
so I could see them bringing like a little side mode that has like a strategy element to it and deploying troops and moving them around, and then you zoom in for an actual battle. If I had to guess, that would be how I would see the Fire Emblem Warriors.
So then you could have like different heroes all set out on the field.
Yeah. Yeah, you could have basically like different champions. You could have Marth over here commanding a field, and someone over here.
So wherever you selected to go, then you would go control that hero. Oh, that could be cool. Okay, well, we'll see. If it's not that, now we're going to be disappointed. But
yeah, I know. Now I'm just building myself up for something that's not going to happen. But
next up was the Breath of the Wild DLC. So that was cool to get a look at, a better look, because they detailed what the first DLC was going to be, and it just kind of left people with more questions than answers.
It was vaguely non-specific about a lot of things it needed to let people know about.
But it looks cool. The Trial of the Master Sword, I don't think that's the exact name, but that's what I'm calling it. It looks like that is basically its own shrine. Everything in there looked like it had shrine architecture, so that sounds like you won't be able to use the power of the divine beasts or anything like that to kind of cheese through. So I'm interested to see that, and it looks like maybe the final battle will be with like a Super Linnell.
Yeah,
that'll be cool.
It looks interesting. It'll add something for people who have gone through and already finished that game. So
yeah,
and that tougher challenge, it'll be nice.
And then they like kind of hinted at the next DLC. It sounds like it's going to go deeper into the story of the 4 champions, but
that was about all we got.
the way that they've like faded in each champion, and then the last one that they did was Zelda, and so it seemed almost like maybe you'll get to play as Zelda in there as the separate story. I'm not sure.
That would be.
But I'm interested to see. Yeah.
I mean, if I had to guess, it's probably something to do with how the champions came together. I'm assuming this is going to be a prequel story DLC.
That would be cool to kind of get to experience the 100 years ago. See what's going on there. They're doing Zelda amiibo for the 4 champions. Like, does Breath of the Wild seriously need more amiibo? What are you gonna do?
I mean, more item drops, more chests.
This game has too many amiibo already. I'm not even sure if I'm gonna get these. And of course, they didn't detail what they're gonna do.
No, all they said was use them in the DLC.
Make sure you pre-order them before they sell out. Otherwise, you won't be able to get them by the time we tell you what they do. Anyways, they showed off the Mario Rabbids game, of course. We already know about that. For those who didn't see yesterday, it's Mario mixed with the Raving Rabbids, mixed with XCOM, of all things. Rocket League on the Switch. Yes, awesome. This sounds perfect for just being at the airport or being like just waiting at the bus stop or something like that. Just play a quick 5-minute match on tethering. That sounds really cool. It's got crossplay with Xbox and with Steam. PlayStation has been left out again because they don't want to join up with anybody. This is another really huge game, just like Minecraft, that could push them in that direction. So we'll have to wait and see. But I'm very excited to see Nintendo being willing to work with Microsoft on this and just having that open network. That's very cool.
It's a refreshing change of pace.
Yes,
from how they've ran things in the past. So
yeah, we got a really deep look at Mario Odyssey.
Boy, that game's weird.
That is a weird game, but it looks like it's gonna be awesome. And
yeah.
The song they did, I was just like, what is going on? But it was so gleeful and
jazzy and singing about how great Mario is.
Yes, and I just know as soon as this game comes out, I'm going to lose just a week of my life completing the entire thing. Or if it's as difficult as they say, this could consume my life for a month or two. You can control things you can throw your hat onto things, and then Mario takes control of those things, including up to a T-Rex.
And also inanimate objects as well. We see him taking control of a car and a rocket.
My favorite was the angry spark that he took over, because he had that little angry face on. It just, oh my gosh,
just a little mustache tacked on.
Oh my goodness.
But yeah, there was just so much going on in there. I mean, Mario can take control of real people that are in this world.
Yeah.
Which is just, I don't know, it's weird. There's so much weird stuff going on. I don't know. It looks great. It's got that Link Between Worlds style side-scrolling sections and parts.
Yes, where he's going on the wall.
Yeah, and then so after their actual Spotlight presentation ended, they showed about a half hour of just Mario Odyssey gameplay.
Okay, so I did not get to see that.
It showed off a lot of its. I can see why they say this game is a spiritual successor to like Super Mario 64 and Super Mario Sunshine, because of just how open the world looks in this game. It seems like you've got a lot of running around and there's a lot of side quests to do. They show off at one point he's trying to get into a bar that's a Mexican themed bar, so he has to go find a sombrero.
That's right. I saw him wearing the sombrero in the trailer. Like all the different outfits that he has. Every Mario game seems to have like one new power-up, and this one is just like, you know what? All the power-ups. Mario's going to be everything. There's nothing Mario can't be.
Yeah. So they show off a little bit of gameplay, or they show off a lot of gameplay. It looks a lot like Spider-Man / Mario, a little bit.
Well, you're gonna have to clarify your point there.
It's the way they show him just exploring around the world and climbing up the sides of buildings and looking for collectibles, and they show him at one point swinging around a light pole. The whole thing just weirdly reminded me of Spider-Man.
Okay.
They also showed off a little bit of the story. Obviously, Bowser's kidnapped Peach again. This time he's trying to just straight up marry her, which is why they're all in formal wear. And his evil wedding planners are the ones trying to stop Mario from breaking up the wedding.
Okay. So I guess they are the bosses?
Yeah, it looks like there's 4 evil wedding planners that you'll be fighting throughout the game, so...
Okay.
The game just keeps getting weirder and weirder, I guess.
It's getting its own amiibo. It looks like it's kind of like Bowser, Peach, and Mario in fancy gear. So that I don't know what those are. Of course, they didn't say what they're going to do. They didn't say if they will work the same as the old amiibo.
Yeah, all they said it would have some kind of functionality with the game, but these amiibos look good enough. I'm going to get them either way.
Yeah, they are good looking. I don't know if I'm going to get them, but they are definitely good looking. Apparently, it may also have multiplayer. There was a roundtable interview yesterday, and someone brought it up, and basically one of the developers was like, yeah, with the Switch, that kind of would make sense, wouldn't it, huh?
Yeah.
I think you'll be pleased with what you see. And then people were like, oh, what about online? They're like, yeah, it's got network functionality, so that would also make a lot of sense, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess, I think you'll be pleased with what you see. So, it sounds like there's going to be some form of multiplayer in there. I don't know if that's going to be co-op or if that's going to be like just a separate mode of versus in some way.
The way that they're so coy and playful about it makes it sound like it's more of a larger announcement, which would push me towards the co-op side. If it was just
That
like
would
a
be
side
really cool.
mode, like they might have just announced it if it was just some kind of mini game.
Co-op has been a big part of Mario lately. Between the Super Mario 3D World on the Wii U, the new Super Mario series, that's been like all
that
the
was all
side-scrolling ones
co-op.
have been co-op for a while. If co-op is here to stay, I'm okay with that. Super Mario 3D, like having it in 2D kind of pissed me off, but having it in 3D was actually a great deal of fun. I had a blast playing through that one on my Wii U.
Yeah, that was a lot less frustrating than the new Super Mario Brothers stuff was, and
Yeah,
it showed that co-op can work in the Mario world, so it
Yeah,
would make
for
sense
sure.
bringing it to this game.
Of course, after that, they showed off the Metroid 2 remake.
Yeah, the only thing I don't like about this Metroid 2 announcement is I wish it was coming to the Switch as well.
That would be nice. I would really like that because I don't want to have to carry my 3DS and my Switch around together. I'm kind of ready for my 3DS to just die. But
yeah,
I
unfortunately, it kind of
understand-
seems like Nintendo doesn't want that to happen for a while. So
I'm guessing that they're going to support it a little while longer because there was not a single 3DS game shown off during the main presentation.
yeah, the
All
spotlight was
3DS
all
stuff
Switch.
they talked about was during Treehouse.
Yeah,
Even when they brought up Pokemon or Fire Emblem Warriors, like they didn't show off 3DS stuff. They all like for Pokemon, they talked about was Pokken Tournament DX and new core Pokemon game. Even though they just announced Pokemon Ultra, so I don't know. I feel like 3DS they're doing their due diligence of supporting their users for a little bit longer. I feel like after this year it may be put, but we'll see.
yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they move forward to the 3DS because
Yeah.
the Switch is just such an obvious replacement for it. It's a more powerful handheld that you can also play at home. You don't need to have both.
Metroid is, of course, getting Amiibo, and I want to know what they do. One is Samus in a new pose. I'm guessing she'll work the same way as the other Samus Amiibo. But the other one is an actual Metroid Amiibo, and it's squishy, apparently. You can actually, it's kind of gelatinous. So that's a cool little touch. They keep doing some new interesting things, like with the Guardian Amiibo from Breath of the Wild that has the posable arms, things like that.
Yeah. I don't know if I'm going to pick up that Samus amiibo, but I'm definitely going to try to find that Metroid amiibo if I can.
So there was actually another 3DS game that got announced during the Treehouse, and that was the very early leaked Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga remake. And I'm actually looking forward to that one because I had the original for GBA, and at some point it got stolen from me, and I never got the game again. Like I haven't gone through to actually play it yet. So having this as a remake, like I've actually wanted to go through the Mario and Luigi games, just not having played the first one. It's just like, well, I need to go track down that game and go play through that. So this is cool for me. I finally get kind of a new entry point into the series.
I had a similar experience with the first one. I had played through almost all of it, and I got into the final boss, and I lost my copy, and I don't remember what happened to it, so I never got to finish it. So yeah, it'll be nice to go back and play that, because I remember loving that first game, but I just never got around to playing any of the others, because I never finished the first one, so
Yeah.
it'll be nice to go back and try to finish that first one again.
Well, that was the Nintendo press conference and everything that I've found from the Treehouse Live that it was interesting. I'm hoping I didn't miss anything else, but if I did, I'm real sorry about it. Was there anything else that caught your eye?
No, I was just overall just really impressed with Nintendo. They did exactly what they needed to do.
I was surprised with what they managed to cram into half an hour. All right, well, that covers the last of the E3 press conferences. If we hear any other interesting news out of E3, we'll be covering it here. Catch you tomorrow.
Bye!